Support for Mob Rules is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming champions of the world. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their 4th-generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, the 4.0. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code FALCON at manscaped.com. You all might think that's a joke, but we do want to welcome our most recent sponsor and very appreciated sponsor, Manscaped, who actually reached out to the shitty Warhammer podcast and was like, hey, you guys want to sell some pube trimmers? And you know what? We sure did. So thank you, Manscaped.
Yeah, absolutely. That's like right up our alley, I would say, right?
Yeah. Now my balls are as smooth as my brain at 40K. Of course. I guess you could call the show Grim After Dark now, because we say the naughty words and no one's going to beep them out. Fuck you, Tyler. We love you. Welcome to Mob Rules.
Fuck you too, Tyler.
My name is John. Joined as always by...
I'm Danny.
You are. Dude, we're so out of practice at this now. We've been away for a little bit here. It's been a really kind of hectic couple of months, I think, for both of us.
Oh my God, guys.
You were in like postdoctorate school, becoming like the Ally McBeal of 40K.
Yeah, that's actually accurate. I am very much like Ally McBeal. We have kind of a similar build, actually.
Yeah, that's true. Danny's waif-like figure and bird-like bone structure. That's why we chose promo code FALCON for all of your needs.
If you wanted to see my bones from the outside,
look at a picture.
If you want to see someone's bones, look at me.
Yeah, or Callista Flockhart. Which one's which?
Yeah,
you'll never know. One of them is married to Harrison Ford. The other is Danny McDevitt. I've been back to school writing bullshit papers about English, which turns out you just make up a bunch of stuff about how things make you feel, and you score points. It's that good. And then, of course, every week we've been on the Frontline Gaming Network on Monday nights with Grim After Dark.
True.
The #1 Christmas movie review show on the Frontline Gaming Network.
But nowhere else.
but nowhere else. Like, if you compare it to, like, actual Christmas review shows, it was terrible. Of course, referring to last week's episode where we had Peter the Falcon Colosimo on. And when you have the guy between 40K stats, one half of the Stats Center power duo, with your own producer, Val, on, the first thing you do is you organize a plan to not talk about 40K at all and see how that goes over. And it turns out not great.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, right? Like, we had the entirety of 40K Stat Center on the podcast at one time, and we chose to not talk about any 40K stat.
We literally could have just and Danny fucked off, and it could have just been an enjoyable episode of Stat Center with people loving the Peter Val Power Hour, but we decided to talk about Avatar.
But yeah, fuck you, listeners.
An active disdain for the audience is really what drives us here, as any longtime listener is going to know.
It's been our tradition. Like, as time has gone on, I think we've kind of cemented that as kind of the MO of Mob Rules, that we hate our listeners. That's not true at all.
It's not true at all. Because if we hated you, we wouldn't tell you to go to manscaped.com and save 20% and get free shipping for that. So even Innes Wilson over in Scotland, free shipping.
I know, shocking. I mean, let's be honest. If anybody needs to shave their balls, it's the Scottish.
Well, within us,
known for their long balls.
Baby-faced, baby-shafted. So, we'll see what goes from there. But yeah, absolutely.
Well, luckily for him, Manscaped does offer a small sized shaver specifically for those that don't need, to cut swath that the Lawnmower 4.0 does.
That's fair. But yeah, so because of this great deal that we got from Manscaped, Danny and I had to come back for this very special episode. And we were like, what we're going to talk about? I think we were mentioning on Grim After Dark with Peter, nothing's really changed in 40K. It's all pretty standard right now. Your top ITC is not going to change. They've already booked their cruise clothing. They know they're going. So what we're going to do is we did a bit a couple weeks ago in Grim After Dark where Innes and Danny created Black Templar lists using our old Iron General format that we stole from this show.
Yeah.
And
we pillaged it. It's
been
much like the rotting corpses that we use to power our show normally.
Yeah. I believe Val calls that corpse OBS. So we put it to the listeners. It was like, hey, look, whatever guy decides, that's whose guy's list I'm taking to LVO. And then, so that is how I'm deciding my Black Templar list. So today on Mob Rules, we're going to go through that list. Kind of maybe now that Danny knows kind of the stakes of, oh shit, this guy's actually going to take it places and try and do things with it. Maybe kind of
I don't know what that's about.
Keep the original spirit of the list. Maybe move some stuff around there. But again, we're going to just kind of go through John's LVO list for Black Templars, which was like kind of a new meta, new faction that maybe isn't the most powerful out there, but also is not severely underpowered in any way.
Also true.
So we're going to go through that. Again, thanks to our friends at Manscaped for making this happen and getting me and Danny back together. Before we do that, Danny, outside of literally hundreds of Marvel Crisis Protocol miniatures, what have you been up to?
I just received all of my household items, so that includes all of my many armies on Monday. So I'm going to kind of whenever this airs, who knows?
Saturday.
Yeah, right. So yesterday I went to my storage unit then, and I pulled out like my Necrons because I really want to play them more. I really want to take them to LVO. That's my goal. Mm-hmm. It's my favorite army to play right now. And you know what? I'm going to be an idiot, and I'm going to bring a monolith to LVO, John. What do you think about that?
Yeah, you're only an idiot if you take 3. And I guess that's the real challenge is, do you want to just take a super heavy? I know you have 3. That's the real ballsy move is player place terrain. I brought 3 monoliths. So fuck me, I guess.
Well, the good news is that I can set up the terrain on my half of the table so that my monolith can maneuver around freely.
Until it just gets stuck like a Roomba in the middle. Guess I'll bonk against his ruin for 2 turns.
That's okay. As long as I'm inside of it, I can shoot out of it. And that's what really counts.
That's fair. And for you guys who are like, man, it's been a long time since we've had our Mob Rules episode. Danny has not seen his personal possessions in around 4 months, I think.
Yeah. So I did the math. It's 20 weeks. It's almost 20 weeks since I've had things.
Yes. So you guys can't see right now, but in the background of Danny's video here, I can see the camping chair that he was recording Grim After Dark on for the last 20 weeks. I finally have an actual like office chair. I'm like king in the castle. I've got a chair. It's like it's so nice, man. Like it's such an improvement. GIF copyright Val. 2021.
Yeah, thank you, Val. It's basically perfect.
Way funnier than anything we've come up with in 20 weeks. But yeah, I'm excited to get you back on Necrons again, especially as you've been forced to either have Dark Angels, which sit in your table and score and maybe win, or Admech, which sit on your
that, yeah.
Or Admech, which sit on your side of the table and shoot and maybe win.
That's an accurate description of my armies. And the Necrons will
I've played them.
Sit on my side of the table. And actually, no, this Necron army that I've been playing, that I'm probably going to be playing here, is very aggressive. So I think it'll be able to kind of capture points and kind of move up the table. I'll have to take things like I'll stop taking Stranglehold and maybe take like, I don't know. I don't see. It's been so long since I've taken. What's the thing where you have to hold all the table corners? I don't even remember what it's called. Engage in all fronts.
Engage in all fronts. Yeah. Don't you take like the Necron version of that, which is like anti-engage?
Oh,
yeah.
That one's also very good. So that might be a consideration for me to take. and just wipe people off my side of the table with Scorpec destroyers and wraiths. But we'll see. There's a lot of options. I really want to take that monolith though. That's kind of the keystone, and that's going to kind of get me to paint one up.
Well, maybe,
which I haven't painted up the new one yet.
That's your secret sauce ingredient for your LVO list that we'll talk about in a few episodes time before LVO. You have to have that monolith in there. Otherwise, you're just a dirty little tryhard, which I've accused you of many times.
It's true.
But my lawyers told me to stop, so that's all that matters.
I'm glad that's not me.
It is. It very much is you. Legally, you're not allowed to deny that. So, that's sort of, I guess we could do the what we've been up to thing, but gosh, it's been a couple months. It's quite a lot. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to talk all about Black Templars and kind of making a weird skew meme list. So we're going to play a break, and then we will be right back.
Earl Hagen was a legend. In 1960, he whistled his way into Hollywood and into our hearts. Decades later, he made a comeback, lending those lustrous lips in the 1980s to such bands as the Scorpions, Guns N' Roses, and Pat Benatar. A half-century after his humble beginnings, he's at it again. This time without cumbersome musical accompaniment, he'll have you wetting your whistle and whistling along. His new album, Earl Whistles Disney, is sure to be a hit with all generations. Order now and receive a bonus album, Earl Whistles More Shit, a collection of previously unreleased material of Earl's favorite songs through the years. On this bonus album, he demonstrates his newly mastered technique of inward whistling. Order yours today on compact disc or double-length cassette. Also available at fine retailers such as Walgreens, CVS, and participating Sam Goody stores. Earl Whistles Disney. Buy it today.
Man, whew, it's been a while. And the thing I love most about that effort is the same people who complain that we play it is 50-50 haters and lovers of that fantastic advert from Peter from NGC 40K. So LVO right around the corner. We know what's happening because we've passed the refund deadline already. So we're there. We are absolutely there. Whether we like it or not, we're there. When we remember to unmute Danny, it's even better.
I know.
So we are there. We're going. I will be taking, and I think I said to this to you today with a caveat that the last chapter approved comes and just kind of like, oh, see your Plague Marine? 14 points, buddy. Go at it.
Oh, sure.
Then I will switch so quickly back to Death Guard that the heads will spin. But right now, dude, I have like 6,000 points of painted Death Guard. I'm kind of done with that. Let's move on to something. I feel everyone should have a Marine army. And that's just not the Games Workshop shilling me. That's kind of the genuine thing of, you will always have something fresh and new.
Are you sure that's not the Games Workshop shilling you? I'm just asking. I feel like I'm obligated to ask you that.
I mean, I couldn't say because I signed away my rights to say it. No, I'm kidding. It really is no. But no, like because Space Marines
slow clap.
Space Marines are like a classic, the classic 40K army. They've been in literally every box set that's kind of come in, and they have they're a nice palate cleanser. And they're a little bit more forgiving than other armies. So like you're bored of Death Guard, you can go to just do some Space Marines for a little bit. You get Scorpion. It's a nice palate cleanser for me. And then of course, Games Workshop. Thank you so much. Yeah, we got a ton of review stuff for Black Templar coming through, including a lot of the new kits, the upgrades, the supplement.
I know.
Yeah, and it was just again not a shill. But some of those kits are simply amazing. I have issues with a couple of them that we'll go into probably later.
Okay.
But the redesign's super great, and thank you so much for making me not have to paint that orc on Helbrick's Brace and making that an optional extra, because you know what I didn't want to do is
paint
an orc. Yeah, one orc sounded miserable to do, because then everyone would need a dead orc in the base. Otherwise, where's the unifying theme? Because then my basing scheme would be all screwed off. So a couple weeks ago, on Grim After Dark, we had Danny and Innes making lists for Black Templars, a 2,000 point competitive army list, which included the secret ingredient unit, which I chose as Sword Brethren. The reason being for that, it's an amazing kit. I mean, it truly is a super, super good kit. I think, Danny, you said during the hot takes to Codex Black Templar, the weapon option limiting is really not great. And they seem to be kind of like other Space Marine units can do what they do, but like a little bit better. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, like if you compare them kind of to Vanguard veterans, like apples to apples, which seems like kind of the route that they were trying to take with them. It's just like you don't get quite the flexibility, but I mean, it is good that you have different options available to you, right? Like that makes Vanguard veterans like an appealing choice for you to take, as opposed to just, oh, well, I'm always going to take Primaris Sword Brethren, right?
Right.
But I think that they have some cool play. I like the unit looks beautiful. Like they're just amazing models, right? And it's cool to see some more Primaris models with Thunderhammer options. I like to see that.
Can I say my one issue with them is I hate the capes, the way the capes go on.
Really?
The way the capes work, they are one entire piece. So what I do like about them, one entire piece that slots right up the back. So really tight, there's no wiggle. It's very obvious where it should go. But they are designed to go over a shoulder pad. The arm slots for the torso to the arm don't have any kind of this goes exactly here delineation on them. They're just round circles.
So because you don't have to use the cape.
I don't know. I mean, it's on all the instructions. I guess you could make it without the cape, but then are you really Black Templaring? I mean, that's my question.
I mean, I would say no. You want the cape. You want the cape. You definitely want a cape.
Now I'm sad I built 10 of them without a cape, with a cape. And then it kind of finishes on the shoulder pad halfway, so you have to line it up right. And then there's a tiny little piece that's just the end of the cape that curls around the shoulder pad. And then the end of that piece is covered by like the little shield, the raised shield that's been going on shoulder pads recently. And it was just kind of like a real pain to get it lined up without making it look like complete shit. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a bunch of Sword Brethren out there without capes because it was big pain. But the Thunderhammer guy looks amazing. Like the squad I built, there's 2 of them in there just because it looks so cool. They're very dynamic, lots of running. But that's the reason I kind of chose them there because I really like the model. Let's make it work. So part of the challenge was for Danny to make an army list, including this. So obviously I don't watch our own show. Who would? And I kind of missed.
Yeah, it's a question I've been asking myself for years, to be honest with you, John.
Yeah, that's fair. There's thousands of you that listen to this, regardless of how long we don't record for. So that seems to be on you. But so we kind of had this list of how it goes, and kind of I was like, how do I have 100 spare points? And it's because I forgot to put in a unit Danny mentioned. But we're going to go through this here and see what Danny has to say about this list that kind of got Frankenstein together here. So it's two Black Templar patrols. Your first one has a Primaris chaplain on a bike. He chapter command, obviously, as all chaplains generally are going to be. He is Master of Sanctity, so he has Litanies of Hate, Tannhauser's Bones, and he's the warlord for the army. I didn't go down and choose the litanies through there yet. I figured it's something else we could do right now. Then we have the troops are going to be a 5-man Incursor squad with a Haywire Mine. And then for elites, we have a 6-man Bladeguard veteran squad. They have the Crux Obsidian. And then we have a 10-man Primaris Sword Brethren.
Actually, and one thing I did forget to say in this squad is you want the champion of this squad to be the champion of the feast.
Okay.
That stratagem. So he gets an extra wound and an extra attack and an extra weapon skill.
Hell yeah. He's championing away. We have a 10-man Primaris Sword Brethren squad. They all have power swords. They all have heavy bolt pistols. And then there's 2 Thunderhammers in there. And then for the second patrol, we have High Marshal Helbricht. The troops are another Incursor squad with a Haywire Mine. We have two 3-man squads of Blade Guard veteran, one Eliminator squad, and then across these two detachments, we have one Impulsor with 2 Stormbolters and a Multi-Melta, and then 4 Impulsors with Stormbolters and Iron Hail Sky Talon array and Multi-Melta. And that is 2,000 points. Now, aside from Jesus Christ, stop asking me to make lists, what was your thinking sort of behind this list?
So obviously it's a very fast list. It's fully mechanized, which is pretty cool. So you're looking really at probably like 8 drops or something like that. So you're like, I think that's
5. Yeah, so the one here is 8 drops because like everything's inside it. Combat squatting, obviously the 10-man's Brethren, Hellbreak can go in. Everything is 9 drops. Sorry, you have 5 Impulsors, 2 Incursors, the Eliminators, and the Bite Chaplain.
Oh no, the Eliminators go inside one of the transports.
Oh,
with one of the 3-man. The idea initially was 2 3-man Eliminator squads and 2 3-man Blade Guard veterans, and then they would each of those share a transport. And so kind of the tech there is that the Eliminators can hop out of the transport after it moves, shoot, and then with the carbine on the sergeant,
hop back in.
That lets you hop back into the transport. And so, or just do whatever, because there's a bunch of different options. Like you could deploy the Eliminators too. It just kind of gives you some options. Like if you need to tie up something from shooting, you can do that with them, or just like move on to an objective after they shoot and kind of move out of line of sight. That it gives you that option as well. So, and then putting like Rites of War on the Bike Chaplain, so that you, as one of his warlord traits, because you probably want to take the like Sigismund's Heir or whatever the stratagem is that gives them 2 warlord traits. And I probably wouldn't. I don't know that I would take Wise Order. I think what I might take is there's a oh no, you have to take a Black Templars one. I think I would take the one that gives them like the +1 attack and like on the charge. I think or some there's one that's pretty good for him. Anyway. As far as litanies go, you want to take the. I think you want Litanies of the Devout, but I could see either way. Like either you take those or Space Marine ones. They're both fine. I would give him. If you're going to take Litanies of the Devout, I would give him the 5-up Feel No Pain, and then I would also give him the buffing, the one that makes his attacks a lot better.
Right.
Well, not a lot better, but like decent. It's a nice buff, right? Here, I'm gonna pull up my codex here real quick.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's solid, and that kind of makes him into a beat stick. You can put the 5-up Feel No Pain onto like one of the squads of sword brethren after they've disembarked from a transport, that kind of thing, or whatever. And the nice thing is you can move the Impulsor and then jump the squad out. So in the next turn, potentially you can give them a litany so that when they get into combat, they can fight real good.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice.
Now, I was going to say part of this here is mishearing or misreading kind of the army list you sent through for this. I only put in 1 squad of the Eliminators in here as opposed to the 2, which hearing your little shenanigans with jumping them back and forth seems hilarious. However, to fill in that point gap, I just added a shitload of Multi-Meltas.
And mines for some reason. I don't know what you were doing.
I had points left over. Like, I'm going to be real with you. Like, they're like, I don't know what else to put in here. And then someone's like, mines.
That's fine.
So like the Haywire mine is just sort of a charging deterrent, right?
Yeah, that allows you to put down a mine that you can pop if enemies get close to like an objective or something like that. Which is fine. Like it's not bad or anything. I just don't know. I don't know what else you're going to spend 5 points on either. So like for me to shit talk them is, they're 10 points
on brand. Yeah. So maybe pulling those away, because essentially with the Incursors, you're just trying to maybe distract a little bit, kind of harass a little bit, like kind of have a couple threats up front to kind of pull away some fire from the impulsors, or what was the idea behind the incursors?
Oh, they're just like the best troop choice that you can get, and for
Okay.
like you have to take troop choices, and it was between them and taking like assault intercessors. For Black Templar, I think both of those are fine. The incursors are decent. They have a good amount of attacks. Like they're AP -1 with the paired close combat blades. And they've got like 3 attacks each on the charge. They're gonna have a 5-up invulnerable save, that kind of stuff. I just think that they're a nice, good unit to beat face with. So, yeah, I think they're totally fine.
No, I will say
they're also smoke screen, so you can give them a -1 to hit if you want. And forward deploying, it gives you a little bit of board presence at the start of the game that you may not normally have, or that you don't have to take if you don't want to.
Yeah, for sure. And then also, like, part of this seemed like a super aggressive list.
Absolutely, John. This is a list that gets up in your opponent's face and asks them the question, can you deal with all of this stuff all at one time? If not, get bent.
Because, I mean, it's like, talking of threat overload, like if you pop the transports that are hopefully up the table, like you have like 12 Blade Guard, you have 10 Primaris Sword Brethren, you have a lot of close combat damage, like so many power swords, like Thunder Hammers, like there's a lot up there. And if you, like, say, if you focus fire on those guys, once they get out of the impulsors, there's just so many impulsors that have a lot of shots. Like, I was surprised. Like, I hadn't looked super deeply into the impulsor profile. That Sky Talon is no joke.
Yeah, it's pretty good, right? Like, I think it's a totally fine option to take. It does good work. So yeah, I think that's sort of the reason. Oh, I remembered what I wanted you to give the chaplain.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking inspirational fighter.
Okay.
But seeing how many power swords you have on your units,
like,
you may not need that.
Everything has a power sword.
Yeah, and so what that does is 6 to wound within 6 inches of the warlord. AP goes up by 1, and it's cumulative with assault doctrine,
which is really good because that makes power swords gross. And like, for me, like, looking at it, like, I looked at the Sword Brethren as I was kind of like, because and here's like a little behind the, I took like the essence of Danny's list and I changed it around a little bit to make it worse. But the Sword Brethren would be super cool with chainswords, because if you're charging in, like, they have 3 attacks base, +1 for the chainsword, +1 for the charge, and you can just drown people in dice from this unit.
Right.
But
and then you're potentially getting if you're in assault doctrine, you're potentially making the chainswords AP -3 with frontline commander, which I've used with like flesh tears, because they have the same ability as like their chapter tactic, which is pretty nasty. Also, it could make your incursors AP -3 with inspirational fighter as well.
So, I mean, there's some, but like, I felt Sword Brethren, not chain sword brethren. And that's
fair.
That's awful win at all cost narrative player in me. Just putting everything through.
Fair enough.
So talk to me about the Crux Obsidian that you put on the Blade Guard veteran, the champion of the feast.
So that gives you the option, and this is much better if you have an apothecary in your list, obviously, because then you can just bring him back over and over again. But so when he's champion of the feast, he's got 4 wounds. He's -1 damage. So he can tank hits, and that's his goal, right? Is just to like reduce the amount of firepower that you're taking on that squad. He's got a 2+ armor save. He could be 4 wounds, 5-up feel no pain, -1 damage, 4-up invul, 2-up armor save. So he's like, and also potentially he could have transhuman physiology. So it just makes him an extremely tough model to get rid of. Also, he's got good weapon skill. He's just a good model. Like, he just fucks, John.
Yeah. Primaris Apothecary, 80 points, by the way. So I'm just adding in like things you should take and seeing kind of where we're at, and then we can start cutting away.
Yeah, sure. And like I think that's like not a bad modification to start with, or at least something to look at, right? Yeah. As far as litanies go,
yeah.
I think you want to take let's see here. I think definitely you want Litany of Divine Protection, which is just an amazing litany, right?
Mm-hmm. So,
and that's the one that gives you a 5-up Feel No Pain.
Okay. So, and what's great about this is you guys, if you looked at kind of the devotions and the things for Black Templars, obviously for me, this list is designed around the theory of everyone having a 5+ invulnerable all the time.
Absolutely. Yep.
So, like, the damage reduction is already crazy. So adding that kind of 5+++++ in there is even better.
It just makes your guys like really annoyingly resilient to kill.
Mm-hmm.
And so, or alternatively, Litany of Divine Protection, being able to put that on the chaplain himself,
mm-hmm.
So that makes him. So first of all, since he has Rites of War, he's OBSEC,
right?
That gives him, and he's got 7 wounds, I think.
Yep.
And he can only ever take 1 damage from attacks.
So you have to shoot him with like 7 different things.
A million different things, yeah. Well, sure, 7 different things. Then there's a bunch of different options that you can take for his second litany because he is a entity, so he does get to have 2.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a couple of different options. I think Psalm of Persecution is good, and that lets you take a Black Templar's core unit, which is everything.
Yep.
And they get 6s to wound, do a mortal wound in addition to a maximum of 6.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the important part of this is each unit can suffer a maximum of 6 mortal wounds.
Mm-hmm.
So if you split attacks between 2 different units, you can potentially do way more than 6 mortal wounds. Also, Fervent Acclamation
mm-hmm.
is solid. And this lets you pick a bat and give that to one of your core character units.
Mm-hmm.
So this kind of lets you kind of play around with what they can do and gives you some options, which is really cool, right?
Yeah.
Like being able to get the option where you can like put a unit in Assault Doctrine
mm-hmm.
and get you can do the anti-psyker one if you want to. Then never mind. That one doesn't really work very well. Unless you want to reroll 1s to wound, but who cares about that? Or 6s to hit auto wound,
mm-hmm.
Which is great on some of these units with power swords.
Right? For sure. Because
like these sword brethren, like that's
AP.
so many attacks that they can get.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because they've already got great AP, and you don't have to worry about them having to charge stuff either, because sword brethren don't take the penalty.
Right.
So that's a good one. And then finally, there's the one that actually buffs the chaplain himself, which can it also gives him strength. So that'll boost him to strength. Strength 6,
mm-hmm.
Which is great, and also 6s to hit will score 2 hits.
Mm-hmm.
So he has exploding 6s, which is quite nice. So just to make him a little bit more of a beat stick, if you want him to be, which is pretty cool.
So these the big 6-man Blade Guard squad, is that something you look at combat squatting, or you just throw that in as a giant beat stick unit?
No, that unit stays together.
Mm-hmm.
You can combat squat it if you want to. I guess it just depends on if your opponent has like weapons that you're actually afraid of. Like 3, maybe they have a unit of it's been so long. It like Inceptors or something like that can come down and bust them. It's been a while since I've seen them on the table. Like that might be an option then that you like say, okay, well these guys will combat squad. So I don't have to worry about that quite as much.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, otherwise I would keep them together just as like a brick of wounds. That's tough to deal with. Potentially, again, with the chaplain, they can be OBSEC, which is really important. I think they're a great unit.
So what are some things, like I said at kind of the start, everyone should have like a Space Marine Army. Thank you, GW. I signed the contract. No, I'm kidding. Because they are a little bit more forgiving. They kind of have a lot of tricks. There's over like 100 data sheets for Space Marines. What are some common pitfalls Space Marine players fall into that really kind of fuck them over?
I think it's important not to be like, I know that this list is very aggressive, but it doesn't have to be very aggressive. I think it's important to kind of take the mid table. And maybe this is just my play style as well, kind of shining through here. I think it's a kind of important to take the middle and then kind of just bite off chunks of your opponent's army and make sure that you're trading like your units for their units, but make sure that your units, you're like trading up. Because even though this army doesn't have a ton of deployments, it's almost twice as many units as there actually are. So there's probably like 18 different units or something like that. So probably more like 16 units, but still, like it's a lot of that your opponent has to deal with. And you've got, actually, with the addition of the multi-meltas, one thing I was worried with this list that it didn't have really any anti-tank firepower. But 5 multi-meltas is nothing to scoff at, especially when they're on a 10 wound, toughness 7, 5++ platform.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a cool option. The other thing with this list I think that's important is using the impulsors to help you to help defend your guys against bonus damage, like damage from Overwatch and things like that. So that you can push them into combat or potentially lock up units so that you don't have to worry about as much shooting. And I think that's going to like kind of like a raider would. Right. I think that's going to be the skill that you're going to have to master.
And something kind of I noticed looking at this list here, and it totally reminded me of what you do with Ghost Arcs, where I'm looking at this list, I'm like, oh, that's a lot of channel blocking going on with this here.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
So
looking at this here, you mentioned an apothecary would be great. The Haywire Mine, trash. Get rid of it. There's only 1 per box anyway, and I'm not buying 2 boxes of it in cursors. The Eliminators, add a second squad there. That's good to go. Adding those 2 things in, taking those 2 things away, currently puts this list 133 points over. So where are some things?
I think that's. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go. What were you saying?
Oh, I was going to say, like, I would focus on maybe one of those changes instead of both.
Okay.
I think that it's probably not, like, I think that it's important to think about that. I don't know that the apothecary is going to be worth it all the time. As long as you're okay with spending that character to try and absorb some hits, I think you're gonna kind of see that pay off for you quite a bit.
Okay.
Just like, so it's a 20 point cost for the 20 points for the crux, the obsidian crux, right? And then it's like a command point for champion of the feast, which I think is totally worth it for that model. So I think that of the 2 options, I would stick with the eliminators, because I think they give you another unit that you can use to like either screen your backfield or take an objective or do whatever, and they're annoying enough to kill. Well, are they annoying to kill on this list?
So
maybe not.
Every time. So I obviously play against Space Marines a lot. Super popular army. I don't know if it's because the people I've played haven't necessarily used them in the correct role. But I've always just kind of picked them up whenever I've wanted to. Like, Thanos style, just kind of pointing at it and be like, dead. But again, I guess
think your opponent is going to have a lot to worry about.
I guess that comes from me playing mainly against Space Marines with Death Guard, where I'm like, you stay the fuck away from my characters. And really prioritizing that one there. But then again, if they're firing at eliminators, that's less shots at an impulsor or whatever it is there. So go.
The thing about them in this list that makes that is a slight disadvantage to them, and does them a little bit of disservice for their toughness value, is that you're not going to get cover saves on them, and that's where they get really tough, is when they have a 1+ cover save.
Right. Because again, we're looking at the Passion being the 5++ invulnerable save, but again, the drawback of that one is you get 0 cover whatsoever for that. But again,
I think the play of them moving in and out of cover and kind of being there on objectives is super valuable.
I think the play of them jumping in and out of an impulsor. Who needs cover when your cover is like a toughness 7 tank with a 5++?
Right. And then they pop out and are on an objective anyway, right? Like, I think that's a good role for them.
For sure. And even removing that apothecary pulls you back down to only having 2 characters in this entire list. Which is a kind of a great defensive pick as well, I feel, whereas kind of adding that 3rd in there, kind of assassinate isn't necessarily an auto take in that situation, but it's like if you're struggling for a 3rd secondary, seeing something where like, well, I could get 9 points for this is pretty tempting. So
yeah, no, well, it's not just 9, it's 10.
Oh yeah,
because remember they get an extra point for your warlord.
Fuck assholes. So with those changes, apothecary gone. Get out of here. I don't care that I bought you on eBay and you're sitting on my shelf already. You're out of here.
Did you really buy?
Oh yeah, but this was like when I started like I'll probably get some Black Templar stuff. I was like, well, I'll probably get an apothecary.
Okay.
I got a sweet deal on it, so it was fine. It was like $17.
I will say, John, that he becomes much, much better if you're ever running the horde list.
Believe me, that
he's
is
invaluable in that. Yeah, okay, fair.
Though I see Horde Black Templars as assault intercessors rather than Crusaders.
Oh, then Crusader squads? Okay, interesting.
Maybe. We're going to talk about that later. Anyway, so that takes us to being 53 points over now.
Man.
So,
and this is dropping the Haywire Mines as well?
Dropping the Haywire Mines, dropping the, adding a squad of Eliminators. Something we can do here, which would save 40 points, would be dropping all of the Iron Hail Sky Talons.
Yeah, that was my first thought. If you really wanted to drop something, how many shots is that thing? Is it like 6 shots?
I think it's 8. I'm super prepared.
Oh man, it's 8 shots,
dude. And that's why that's saying it's really good. God, I hope people like listening to us discuss this. Heavy 8, strength 4, AP -1. Each time an attack is made with this weapon against an aircraft, add 1 to the hit roll.
Yeah.
So
impulsors are 11 wounds. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
So it's like it's good, but is it Squad of Eliminators good? But here's the thing, right? Eliminators are going to get me points by holding an objective, but are they going to be able to kill as much as 4 Iron Hails or like 32 shots worth of anti-air?
Yeah, I don't know about that. But not that I think that air targets are going to be especially prevalent now.
But they're not also going to be super worried about. Are they going to be super worried about strength 4 gun? That's the thing. It's
with 8 shots each, I think you probably do 1 or 2 wounds every single time you shoot at them. Don't forget as well that on turn 1 they're all AP -2.
That's fair. So it's pretty good. And even then, even cutting out all 4 of those, which is only like my really own mass fire, you still need to find 13 more points.
Yeah. I don't know. So what I would do, John, is I would try this out.
Okay.
And I would see if you like one unit of Eliminators, or if you think that another unit of Eliminators would be more useful. If you wanted to, with those extra points that you have for dropping the Void Mines, maybe think about another Sky Talon array for the other Impulsor.
So here is where we're at. Taking off all of the Sky Talon arrays with 2...
No, I mean like... Okay, sorry, go ahead.
With 2 units of Eliminators, with no Sky Talon arrays, we are 13 points over.
Yeah, no, what I'm saying, John, is that like, don't take the second unit of Eliminators.
Okay.
At this point in time, try the list as it's written right now, except maybe like take off 1 Void Mine and give one of the Impulsors another Sky Talon array.
Okay.
And I would say try that out and see if you like that. I think that is worthwhile. The other thing that you could do as well with those extra points, if you didn't want to take another Sky Talon array, is keep in mind that you have all these other options for some of these Black Templar, like the relics that you can buy for them. That might be worth it. Like some of the relic bearer stuff, like, let's see. So you could buy, for instance, like the Bones of Mordred for for some kind of champion for 10 points if you wanted to. Or Light of the Emperor's... Don't take Light of the Emperor's Grace.
So why not take Light of the Emperor's Grace?
I mean, that might not be a terrible option.
Here's positive shield Danny coming out of his hole.
Or don't take the extra Sky Talon array and take the Sigismund's Seal on a unit. and that lets you pick one unit and you get to reroll to hit and to wound against them. So that might be a good option on like, oh, do you have to give it to a, who can you give this to?
That is a great question.
Oh, perfect. It's any model.
Oh,
so
right.
Give Sigismund's seal to the Sword Brethren.
Because we have 22 points left over on this. So
yeah, and that way you can pick a unit that they have and like just say, okay, I'm combat squatting them, so now you have to deal with 2 units.
Mm-hmm. Because
it's just one of the units of them, because you selected at the start of the first battle round of the combat squad, so you'd still get to pick that. But like if they have something that's like really like baller, like let's say your opponent has taken like a monolith, for instance,
sure,
you could take,
dude. Okay,
you could,
buddy. I love you. You're one of my closest friends right now. If we go to the Las Vegas Open and I have to fucking play you at all in a paid tournament, I'm gonna be so mad. Like Thursday night, great. Yeah, let's fucking throw down, have some beers. If I am paired against you, I am going to be so mad because I'm like, well, we have great content, I guess, for this, but I'm really mad about it.
Well, what I'm saying is that you can put both the Thunderhammers in one of the combat squads and make that squad like your Hitman squad, right? And they can go up against something that's extremely tough.
It's almost like
and-to-wound rolls on them.
Someone was super excited about the premise of that and kind of messaged you right away and be like, hey, dude, I can do this. Okay, so looking at this, the changes we made, this is kind of like...
Did we talk about that? I totally don't remember that at all. I'm sorry.
I sent you a message and I was like, hey... Here's what I want to do. I was like, I want to take a 10-man with 2 Thunderhammers, combat squad it, so you have Squad Chad with the 2 Thunderhammers and all the cool guy stuff in one impulsor, and then Squad Shithole, who stays in the backfield and sits on the home objective in cover because they get cover because Sword Brethren don't get the passion, the bad side of the passions. And
true.
Yeah. So after this.
Go. Wait a minute, though, John.
Yeah.
Sword Brethren do not sit in the back.
Squad Malchus does, because they're just like you stay there. You just look after this ruin. Someone has to. Someone didn't leave me enough points for servitors.
Well, that'd be another option. Maybe that would be a good choice.
That would be. But okay, so as our base thing, and I was joking with Danny, my plan for this list is we're going to amass it, get it all together. And then I'm just going to...
Actually, you don't have the elite slot for the servitors, John.
Dang it. That's okay. We'll take out the Sword Brethren and just replace it with servitors. The plan for this, again, is just to run it into Taylor until I can score 60 points with it. Just fucking smash him into it over and over again. But, okay, so after this refinement and this discussion here, the list looks like we have High Marshal Halbert, who's, I guess, a junior marshal because he's not the warlord. Side note, I feel if you take a special character who is the leader of the faction, they should have to be the warlord.
Look, John, he's there for supervisory oversight. He wants to make sure this chaplain isn't fucking around and like not screwing up this crusade. So he's there to make sure that things are going the way he wants them to.
I've listened to Hell's Reach. I know that works. So we have High Marshal Halbert. We have just a bare bones Incurser squad. We have 2 3-man Blade Guard veteran squads. We have a 3-man Eliminator squad. We have 1 Impulsor with a multi-melta and no Iron Hail. And then we have 4 other Impulsors with Iron Hails and multi-meltas. Then in our second patrol, we have a Primaris Chaplain on the bike with a Litany of Divine Protection. He has Fervent Acclamation. He has Tannhauser's Boner. He is the Warlord and Master in Sanctity. All kinds of cool stuff. I like how neither of us came to the conclusion that you should drop Master of Sanctity to fit other stuff in.
I mean, if you wanted to, that'd be fine too.
That's real smart.
I just like having the extra...
for sure.
I like having the extra litany. It's pretty nice.
For sure. Because he's just going to be a real pain in the ass to kill. Imagine being hit by a giant poon from an Imperial Knight and just being like, ooh, my finger.
Lol.
5++. Then a bare bones and Cursor squad that fills troop requirements. We have a 6-man Blade Guard squad with the Crux Obsidian in there. We have a 10-man Primaris Brethren, Sword Brethren squad. They have the 2 Thunderhammers. Everyone has Power Sword. Everyone's happy to be there. And that's the list. And I think
that's it.
I think that's a pretty fun list. I agree. That list just fucking drives up to the center of the table. And it's like an evil piñata because every transport you pop, shit comes out that you don't want to come out of it.
Yeah. Oh man. And like Helbrecht can hitch a ride with either one of the Sword Brethren squads or the Impulsor or one of the Impulsors with three of the what are they called, the Blade Guard vets.
Yeah, but can you imagine just like one Impulsor has 5 Sword Brethren with 2 Thunderhammers. The other one has 5 Sword Brethren or Sword Brethren with Helbrecht. Like, what the fuck do you target with that? It's Helbrecht, but yeah, it's super good.
No, I don't know, man. That's a tough choice. I don't know that I would target Helbrecht. It depends on
what you're running.
What I'm afraid of.
What is your monolith most scared of? Fucking nothing.
The multi-meltas.
You're a nerd.
I mean, yeah, that's true, but also the multi-meltas. I feel like I'm probably the most scared of.
That's fair.
So I'm going to try and pop. So my game plan against your list is I'm going to try and pop your transports, and then I'm going to try and assault the guys inside because I'm going to fight you and kill you.
That's fair, and you have often and in the past. And I don't appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So this is what we're going to build towards. We're going to update you as we go about how it's doing, where I'm at. It's on order as of tomorrow when I call Val and be like, hey, I need these things. And then, we're going to take a quick sort of break. Danny, it's not going to be a break for us because we have to talk about the people who make this episode possible. And then when we come back, we'll just do a little state of the meta almost. We're going to talk about how things are going. A couple of big things. And for some reason, someone asked for a good competitive 40K podcasts on Warhammer, the competitive 40K site. And someone said us.
I don't know why.
I guess we did just have like a 45-minute discussion about Space Marine army lists and kind of.
That's true.
I feel it was an interesting discussion about.
I think so.
Forming an army. If you disagree, please don't let us know. Just like and subscribe. We're gonna sort of go away, but not really. Danny, imagine shaving with a sleek, well-designed and optimized trimmer that makes shaving time your favorite time in the bathroom.
John, have you tried the new 4.0? Have you tried it yet?
No shit. I did. I will say,
same.
Terrifying. The first part was just kind of like, because I, as obviously both as bearded men, I've trimmed my face. Right. I have like a beard trimmer, and I've nicked myself with a beard trimmer. So the idea of holding what looked to me to be a beard trimmer at my testicles was terrifying. But let me tell you, fucking nothing. Like no nicks, no nuts, no nothing.
Dude, that's awesome because I know, like, I'll be honest with you, dude. I've cut my balls before, and it is not. It's not a friendly thing.
This is, and we're gonna switch into the.
Wish that on my worst enemy.
We're gonna switch to the testicle portion of today's episode. But so
straight up balls, baby.
Straight up balls. So you've fucking groomed your balls before? Like I'd never done it. Not? No, I'd never done it.
Come on.
No,
really?
Hand on heart, 100% no. I let my personality do the talking, and by the time they've got that far, it's too fucking late. They're invested. So yeah, like, and this is why, like, again, my only knowledge of trimmers is that they're like metal fucking blades of death.
But not this one, John.
No, dude, it's like plastic, and like it just
It's actually, John, it's ceramic.
Ceramic. Fuck. Okay.
Yeah,
I read the notes well.
It has the fourth generation trimmer features a cutting edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to the advanced skin safe technology.
You know what was crazy for me? As I was laying on a towel on my bed trying it, and my wife was making fun of me.
Wait a minute.
Sure, okay,
Did
let's
you
go back
turn
to
this into a group activity?
I might have, like, towards the end, sure,
Okay.
because I'm like, fucking
All right,
even
fair,
this
fair.
up. I've never done this before. That might have been a line we threw out.
Give me a trim. I think I may have gotten too light on the left side.
But there's like a light on top of the blade. So if you're ashamed of your genitals, you can
Hell yeah.
trim in the dark and then kind of point it down and shaved away. Did you it has like a wireless charging base too.
Yeah, how interesting was that? Like, I was like, oh man, my phone, my headphones, all that stuff has wireless charging. I never thought that a ball trimmer would have wireless charging, but hey, this one does, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it uses electromagnetic induction, which can help battery length last longer. It also comes with a USB-C cable that can connect Mob Rules soundboards to PCs for recording. If you've been shaving with the same nut trimmer of your face, you've been doing it wrong. No person wants to end with pubes in their mouth. Danny, you used to have pubes in your mouth. And you also used to shave your balls.
Used to.
So now we're going to.
But like, it's an important aspect of like, I feel like, a body grooming. Like, I think that, make it a treat for your treat. Like, yeah. And like, make sure you keep those boys trim and kind of that jungle under control.
Keep your balls as smooth as your 40K brain. And then just for you guys, 20% off plus free shipping with the code FALCON. That's FALCON. It really does help us out at Mob Rules create this terrible content that you so enjoy from manscaped.com. Your balls will thank you. We will be right back. Maybe. Sure.
Dude, I'm the best. I took first place at another tournament.
First off, stop with the thunder and lightning. You don't impress me. And second, let me check out the BCP rankings. And I don't see you on there.
What?
Your TO needs to download the Best Coast Pairings app and run events on it. After the event, the results are uploaded into BCP rankings, and the best part, it's easy and free.
But I play multiple game systems.
No big deal. The BCP app can be used for any game. A ton of events every weekend are using it, from major international tournaments to local stores. And now that it's available on Android devices, you're going to have some serious competition.
There can be only one.
BCP Rankings is a fun and exciting way to measure how you or your team stack up. No matter what you play, your score goes to an overall ranking, or compete to be the best in a game, a circuit, a region, or the world.
Download the app or visit www.bestcoastpairings.com for more info.
Best Coast Pairings.
Are you the best?
Man, still, like, I haven't listened to that advert in forever. And that quick cut to different audio quality gets me every time.
I know.
We're gonna jump through some stuff here. Like, we have a Discord, we have a Patreon, we have a small but dedicated group who, for some reason, like us enough to want to interact with us. And I want to throw out Matt Austin, who is on our Discord. He gives me a little bit of a hard time sometimes. Some days say deserved.
Yeah.
Jerks say deserved. He has been on sort of like a one-man Twitter crusade this past week so. GW, of course, releasing the message that said, hey, guys, Nazis are bad. If you're like a Nazi, you shouldn't play our game. And, of course, people responded with, why do you have to say that? And then also, I think the thing that like I responded on Twitter to him today about was like, people are like, well, it's not satire. Because satire is funny.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, dude. How great was that thread? It was just perfect, dude.
The best thing about that thread, was Matt pointing that out. Someone came in and was like, look, dude, you're a fucking moron. Keep politics out of 40K. Which, okay, one, is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen or read. And we just did like a 3-minute commercial for a ball trimmer, which, by the way, is fantastic.
And I'd like to point out, well, like a quick interjection here, that we are getting some kickbacks from them. They did send us some free products.
They did.
Which is pretty cool. If like 10 people use the Falcon code and get that 20% off and free shipping, like we get a more lucrative sponsorship. So
yeah,
hey, you know what? I'm going to post it on my Facebook. I don't even care.
Hell yeah. Bag away. We got some, like, I think,
yeah.
sweet shirts. Yeah. And then just fulfilling our thing, this episode will be
They
posted.
gave me some underwear, John.
Yeah.
It supports my balls so wonderfully. I mean, like, I could talk about my balls for a really long time. I won't.
They want
today.
you to.
I mean, I've already talked about them plenty today.
More than enough.
Let's be honest.
Surprisingly, not more than other
uncomfortable
Mobril
amount.
episodes, but you know what's
Yeah,
not
that's true.
uncomfortable?
Weirdly, yeah. It just
Weirdly.
seems like I talk about them all the time.
It does. But thankfully, all of our episodes going forward will be the hashtag ad and being referenced as advertised and paid for by Manscaped. But a Black Library author came in and was like, hey,
I know.
I'm freelance, but fucking here's the deal. He explained something to me I never once thought of that blew my mind. And it was like, hey,
Okay.
satire, right? The Queen of England is a useless figurehead who does nothing and sits on a golden throne and takes a sacrifice of millions of dollars of taxpayer money to do something. I don't fucking know. She doesn't have any real power, and there's a bunch of like corruption underneath her. And I'm like, I never once equated the emperor to the monarchy in the UK, which is insane because when he laid it out, I was like, yes. Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, sure.
It was super
like,
good.
It's like obvious, right? Like, and like technically now I will say that the royal family, like the charity work and things like that they do every year is really admirable and that kind of thing. But obviously, like them getting taxpayer money seems a little gratuitous for that kind of stuff.
It's like the part in the Lord of the Rings who was like, you have no power here. It's like, what do they do? No one cares. So yeah, that author jumped in. That guy also said that.
Yeah.
He also said that Rick Priestley didn't have a say in this because he didn't create 40K. And I think Matt sent him a screenshot of the Rogue Trader rulebook, which said written by Rick Priestley.
Well, like, okay, so the guy, his Matt's opponent here, right, made the assertion that like, oh, the GW community team doesn't know what they're talking about. They can say it's satire, but that's not what it actually is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, give me an author to say that it's satire, and then like
Then
maybe we'll talk, right?
And
And then the author comes on and just like he's like, no, not that author.
And then, oh, fuck, what did I reply to? Because, okay, this is, again, I like,
classic, dude.
I bring this up as much as vegans and CrossFitters bring it up, but like, dude, I'm an English major. That is my chosen major. Someone coming up to me and saying like, satire isn't comedy. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? No, like, that's literally what satire is. So like saying it's satire is a cop out. So I'm just like, it's not a cop out. The setting is literally satire. That right. Is what it is. Like, I think you're confusing satire with parody.
Yeah,
but that's okay.
Exactly.
But that's okay. That's the world we live in now, where we have like a genuine tournament tactic. Apparently, is showing up dressed like Dennis Reynolds' uncle in full Nazi paraphernalia. And having his
grandpa.
Oh, his grandpa. Yeah, thanks. And having your opponents refuse to play you, and then you're like, cool, I get a win. I'm like, cool, that's how you win. That's how you become king of the Spanish 40K scene. And then when you come out and say, that's pretty bad, everyone's like, did you really have to say that? I'm like, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I feel if I ran a business, I would say that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Totally fair. I think that's a really reasonable take. Mm-hmm. It's shockingly, like, why is that surprising to anyone? I don't get it. Like, wanting to keep politics out of 40K. Oh, okay. Like, even then I can kind of like understand it, but like, this isn't even about politics. It's about hate.
Yeah.
Like, let's not have that taint the hobby whatsoever. Who yeah, fuck racists. Like, obviously. And like, I don't want to play games against those people. I don't want to befriend those kinds of people. Like,
I
pass.
I am far from a Richard Siegler or a John Lennon. I do not give a shit about where I end up in any kind of ranking. I do not want to spend 3 hours of my time around someone else like that. And fair play to Matt. He's like, honestly, I just can't make fun of John anymore. There are people far dumber than him, which is like the highest praise he's put in there.
Yeah, because man, he rips on you all the time.
He does. If you want to rip on me all the time, come on in.
Yeah, come join our Discord. Join our Patreon.
Join our Patreon. Give us $1. Instantly leave. We don't kick people out. Like, you're stupid enough to give us money in
No.
the first place.
Yeah, why would you even do that?
It's fair.
That's
Russell,
usually the first question we ask anybody who joins the
literally,
Discord
as soon
anyway.
as
Like,
I get
why
that
did you do
notification, I'm like, why? Russell continues his quest to own every Primaris model and has some beautiful looking Crimson Fists coming along here.
I know. It's really cool.
Also, thank you for when I was saying I was going on this crazy Impulsor quest that Danny sent me on, for pointing out that the Gladiator kit is exactly the same as the Impulsor, but with an extra sprue for $5 more. So now I'm just going to be buying.
So it comes with all the hatch options and stuff too.
Yep, because
What?
looking at, and thanks for this Games Workshop, my start collecting or my Combat Patrol Black Templars, the Impulsor kit in there is 2 sprues, which has all of the options on it there. And the Gladiator stuff is just an extra sprue. So it's like the same kind of thing as like the Razorback Rhino thing from back in the day. Guys, just buy Gladiators. Even if you're not going to fucking use them, at some point they're going to be good. And you're going to have those half sprues lying around ready to go. So yeah, thank you for that tip there. Super happy about that. Wingo, I love you to death. You're painting Mortarion. Fair play to you, buddy. You're not going to play him anytime soon. I appreciate that. And then the other thing I want to talk about from our little community is our good friend Tanner of the Lore Bros from Grim After Dark.
Oh yeah, sure.
Got himself some 3D printed Tyranids. This was a roller coaster half-hour conversation between the folks in our Discord here. It went from, what are those fucking trash things that you're trying to show, to I love those trash things that you're trying to show. Tyler, who also doubles up as our editor and the person who makes us funny on Grim After Dark, just roasted this guy to death. I want to kind of go through here. Hiveguard don't have rending claws. Your Swarmlord proportions are wild. Your Manthrope looks like a fucking slug. Gaunts with jazz hands look real fucking weird, and the G-Sealer color is hard to see but looks abhorrent, and not in a good way.
Not like the unit.
No.
And the little hand, like the human hand that's sticking off of the
all of his gaunts that were 3D printed were human hands, like just jazz hands. So the thing, and again, pump in the Discord, because man, if we're selling out, we're gonna sell out hard with this one. But
yeah, sure.
The gaunts all have human hands. The Gene Stealers are all T-posing.
Amazing.
And then Taylor of Lore Bros is like, mono T-posing Steelers are so fucking funny. I love this army. It's horrific. I love it. Gaunts with human hands are amazing. So I can only assume Taylor will be receiving a package in the next week with human hand gaunts, which will make him move away from whatever he's looking at today for a different kind of army. It's super good. GW's events are kind of wrapping up here, Danny. Balance updates came out. How are you feeling about quarterly balance updates?
Hell yeah, I'm so stoked, dude. This makes me very happy. I hope that we get a points update before LVO. We'll see if that happens. If it doesn't, that's okay too.
When do you think we're going to see chapter approved?
Dude, so it seems like it's right on the horizon to me, especially with them playing with it. Is it this weekend or next weekend?
This weekend coming up, which by the way, I'm going to have you message Benelli. This weekend coming up is going to be the GW Invitational, which has winners from Austin, Florida, and New Orleans, as well as best generals from all three.
Siegler cubed, but he's not going, right? Like,
no,
I remember seeing
dude
that.
has nothing else to prove. Like, I think, like I coined the term Siegler sweep. That's just, the dude, like, I think, was it Falcon said on the Adjacent show, where they do talk a little 40K with their bullshit, that he only has reported, he has one more event to report. He's not even maxed his events, and he is top 10.
Oh my god, dude! Number one right now, isn't he?
Let me look that up.
I think so.
Yeah, we'll see here. But like, dude, he's so far, and he's not even maxed events, so he is above everyone else, which I'm sure he knows. Look this up here.
which is crazy, right? Like, not even mad. I'm just impressed.
So number one right now in the ITC, as I do my Seth Oster impression.
Oh, is Brad?
It's Brad the Animal Chester. And then after that, number 2 coming in hot, unlike my loading screen on my phone. There we go. Sean Naden 2, John Lennon 3rd, Manny Chima 4, imported like a fine wine. And then we see,
so Siegler's not in the top 10 right now.
Siegler dropped out of the top 10. But like if we go down, let's find him real quick because this is the kind of content everyone fucking loves. Siegler is down at, holy shit, he's down there. Ryan Schneider, a little 39 action. Did he get himself disqualified by
He's 158.
158
right now.
But if you look at his reported scores, he's recorded
he's got 4 scores.
4 out of 6. 3 of those are winning GW Super Majors.
Wow.
So you have to imagine, like I obviously I don't know what he plans, but if he's able to make it out to the next Frontline event, which I believe is New Orleans, pretty good chance of that. And then LVO, which again he has a pretty good chance at just because of who he is. Like it's crazy. The next person who only has 4 scores listed is so far down. It's not even funny. It's bizarre. That house in Florida. Like, I don't know what Nanavati is injecting them with. Like, what is, like...
some kind of steroid, HGH.
Some HGH. Because, yeah.
Anyway, they're just saying. So I think the reason that he's not going to that invitational, like, keep in mind that he is a doctoral candidate. So, like, I assume that there's probably some kind of school thing going on.
I think
like
he's going to
teaching
Europe.
Finals or... Oh, really? Oh, that's cool. That's even better, man.
He already had a trip planned.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah. So super cool seeing that coming up. So we're gonna see the missions. Like if you're listening to this release day today, and so you would have to imagine the pre-order windows coming up soon. Will it make it by the LVO cutoff, which is going to be January 13th, his list submission day?
I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
But yeah, new points are coming, and I think we're hearing that it's going to be a radically different upgrade. So there's going to be more changes this time, and not just sort of like very, very minimal changes. That last year was. And I think a lot of people were super disappointed with.
Yeah, I kind of had heard that maybe there will be some Necron changes. We'll see. I'm not trying not to get my hopes up too much. I'll be fine if I'm just get to stick where I'm at right now. So
that's fine. Yeah. But yeah. So hopefully soon, we'll get more coming up. Danny, we're gonna take a quick last break, and we're gonna wrap this on up, and then we will be right. Holy shit! You think I would line this up way better, but no. I'm just gonna continue to not line it up and make it seem completely unnatural until the very last.
Do you like cookies but want something more British? Buy biscuits. Not like those you have for gravy. British biscuits. For dunking in your British tea. Stiff upper lip guaranteed. Biscuits. As recommended by Queen Liz of the Britons.
Natural, like that, and you wouldn't even notice that I put an ad in or did any kind of editing.
Amazing.
Super good. Yeah, so thank you all for listening through this very nice paid promotion, advertised Manscaped Pod that we are now. Danny, anything you want to add in before we go out here?
No, I think I've said my piece on just about everything. Really happy to be back here though and talk to you, buddy.
Can I just say this was a lot of fun, and we need to do this more often because, like, I did zero prep for this. I mean, you guys know that. You're listening to this. But it's kind of nice to just kind of come in and just shoot the shit for like an hour and 12 minutes. And we want to thank the wonderful people at Manscaped for encouraging us to come back and do this for you all.
Hell yeah.
And yeah. And then just really quick, Danny, talk about something here real quick.
Oh, yeah, sure. So, like, I am super excited to work on some models that I haven't started yet.
Yeah. Were they shipped down to you?
Oh, finally, man. I've got so this is funny. Like, I only have 5 wraiths that are built.
Really?
So
don't you have like literally thousands of points of Necrons?
I have like one of every unit painted, but I don't have necessarily multiple units of like fast attack and that kind of stuff, unless I've recently acquired, not recently, but like semi-recently acquired them. So I've kind of like spread my stuff out a little bit. So I've only ever had one squad of wraiths. So I have 6 more on the sprue that I'm probably going to try and build and paint up here in the next little bit. I also want to paint up some more Scorpack destroyers. I only have, I think I only have 3 painted right now, but I have 11 in the list that I've been running. So I'm probably going to paint up some more of those.
I do have the Lord on the way. I picked up a Scorpack Lord off of eBay for $13, and I'm very excited about that.
He's such a cool model.
So cool.
Like, just really cool model.
And again, after listening, we're going to be talking about this on another day on Grim After Dark, but I loved the role Scorpack and all the Destroyer cult people played. And how the Necrons interacted with them. Like, that was the cool thing when they were like, let's stay a little bit away from you.
Right. And like how, Oracan, like when he goes to tell them what to do, like he has to like, he fully shields himself, like just make sure he doesn't touch anyone. Like he's very like hands off and like, all right, you guys freak me out and I don't want to like contract the Destroyer virus or whatever from you, which is super cool, like, and very thematic. It's so awesome.
Yeah. Super cool. It's super great. And again, thank you all for listening. Man, I'm just stuck in that Grim After Dark phase where I have to say watching. But we're going to close out again, thanking our wonderful, amazing sponsors at Manscaped. Jingle balls to the walls, fellas. Listen up. Untrimmed pubes are a thing of the past, and it's possible you have Santa's beard in your pants. Hey, Danny, I'm going to cut away from this ad read. When I got back into 40K and I hooked up with like Nate and his crew, and they kind of took me in, I was older than them by a few years, and they referred to me as the mighty gray bush because of my gray pubes, which apparently I had at the time. But anyway, it's time to leave. It was
news to you, I know.
It was. It's time to leave your significant other some cookies and milk and at the bottom of your chimney. I'm talking about the Manscaped Performance Package 4.0. Inside the Performance Package 4.0, you'll find the Signature Lawnmower 4.0. This electric trimmer has proprietary advanced skin-safe technology to reduce cuts on your nuts. I love that rhymes. It's also waterproof, so you can use it in the shower. It's like a gift to your partner with less mess, unless you have to unclog a drain. Manscaped Performance Package 4.0 also includes Crop Preserver, Crop Reviver, an anti-chafing ball deodorant that does work, moisturizer and toner. It's time to keep your North Pole feeling and smelling fresh. This hygiene bundle will also come with a pair of Manscaped anti-chafing boxers that Danny's wearing right now and can attest to its anti-chafeness. The perfect package for his perfect package. It's going above and beyond with the new Ultra Premium Body Wash. It's infused with aloe vera, sea salts, keep your skin feeling clean, nice, and moisturized. They all just launched their new 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner, which has key ingredients with benefits that include hydrating and nourishing, conditioning the scalp of your nuts, and strengthening your hair of the nuts at the same time. 'Tis the season to load up on Manscaped products, so get yourself, your dad, your brother, and friends the best gift of all, the Manscaped Performance Package 4.0. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code FALCON at manscaped.com. Thanks, Peter. Every guy out there needs to add Manscaped to their wish list this season. Use promo code FALCON. It really helps Danny and I out, and Mob Rules as the show. For Mob Rules, I've been John.
I've been Danny.
And we will see you next time. Promo code Falcon.